Beaty Beats here from Pop Turner, speaking to Mason McCarty about Terrifier 3, which is out now in theaters. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks so much for being here.
Wow, thank you for having me, man. My chair just
Yeah,
dropped.
no worries.
Good to see you, man. No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, good
Seriously.
to see you. I mean, it's been crazy, and I feel like it's just been kind of nonstop for you since the film's come
Yeah.
out, right? There's not much more to say.
Yeah, man, it's been really surreal, and I mean, it's just a big blessing how great this movie's doing, and I'm so proud of it. So it's just I think that's the cherry on top is I'm glad we're all very happy with it, and people seem to be very happy with it too. So
I
very,
mean,
very
spooky season and everything. And like we know for a while at some point that we're gonna get a Terrifier 3. Then we find out it's like holiday themed, right? It's Christmas themed and everything. For you
Yeah.
and kind of that process of getting involved, whether it's an audition or anything, what was that kind of journey like for you? Like, do you know your audition? Like, was it for Terrifier 3 what you were kind of like auditioning for? Like, what was that like for you specifically?
yeah, yeah. I knew right away. It was on the it was on the breakdown.
Okay,
Terrifier.
sometimes they don't say what it is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Usually they have that code name, but I think I got the email from my team and I was just kind of like, oh, I was like, oh, I know exactly. Of course, I know exactly what this is, but it was intimidating. It was really because I was familiar with the first two and even the short films prior, but I had not seen them yet. So
Okay.
there was a lot of not. There was just a lot of like gray area in my mind. I just didn't really know how these movies actually were, or
Yeah.
like I'd only heard their reputation through like online a little bit, but yeah, I was a little nervous, and even though I am a horror movie fan, these movies like kind of scared me when I started looking into them. I was like, wow, they have some fun, but
Yeah.
and then dude, yeah, I kind of felt like I was a little like dismissive if I was gonna fit in the film, so I sent a pretty confident take where I just had some fun with it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The scene was from Terrifier 2 because they were really heavy on withholding the spoilers. So the scene was
Oh
from
yeah.
Terrifier 2,
They
and
still are. The movie's out. They
oh,
still are.
absolutely. And I've let a few things slip on accident, but so I'm trying to keep it under control. But yeah, the scene was from Terrifier 2, and so I filmed it in a car. The scene was in a car, and so I was just like, why not? And I was just having fun with it, and I really did not think they would be interested after that. But I read a few more times after that, so they called me back, and yeah, it was great. And then it led to a chemistry read with Alexa, and then from there we were all with Damien and Matt, our casting director, and yeah, and that's
The rest was
it.
history.
Yeah,
Spoiler free now, I promise you, but
right.
you'll never guess what scene I'm about to ask you about.
Oh, I can't wait. Bring it on. Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, there are certain scenes, specifically, involving a shower that is going to be a scene that people are going to talk about for a while in that genre. And I'm just wondering what was the mindset before filming that and after filming that? Like, I'm just curious. Like, we're not talking about what happens, but like, what is your
Yeah, yeah.
mindset? Like, how can you even prepare for something like that?
Yeah. Oh man. Just I mean, nothing prepares you for how insane that's gonna be. But God, let me think. So what was funny was when Damien like officially sent the offers after the readings, he kind of, I mean, how it went is he sent one page that was just the kill. It was just the whole one page from the script of just that kill scene. And I think if I remember correctly, it was kind of like, I understand if you don't want to, thanks for, being on this journey of reading for this role and all that, but here's what the scene is. I understand you can pass now or whatever.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay,
I
yeah,
know.
gotcha.
Total respect to that. And I just remember reading it and just being like, oh my gosh. But it was awesome because I knew how much, this sounds crazy, but how much of an honor it is to have a kill scene like that, especially in Terrifier. I knew that fans were gonna whether it was me that was going to play that part or not, I knew fans were going to love that. I knew it
Yeah.
would make people talk.
Yeah, the talking, like, do you probably read that and you know how successful the first two films are, and you're probably like, people are going to talk about this for a while.
I was for sure. I was just like, people are gonna see that, and I know they won't be able to get enough of it, and it's gonna be exciting. And I had to sit on it. I simmered on it for a minute, but I don't think I sat on it that long, and I kind of told it. I just knew he was gonna handle it really awesomely, and he did. He did. So
For
I mean,
sure.
when it came around to filming, it was a blast. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many factors going on in building a scene like that you should be extremely uncomfortable, or it should be, a little intense. But man, we were such a family by that point, it felt like. And
Mhm.
so it really was a lot less daunting once we were in the room
Well,
shooting
it's
it.
interesting, and we're not going to kind of beat around the bush. I mean, this third film pushes the envelope, right? It goes
Oh yeah.
places that, you wouldn't think they would go there, but it does, right? And like, again, when I do these interviews, I spoke to Laura, like, I don't want to talk about certain things because it's about the craft, right? And everything. But like, you obviously at some point were aware that the envelope was going to be pushed. I'm just wondering what that kind of like mindset and
Mhm.
strategy is from an acting perspective, because it could, like you say, be daunting a little bit and
Yeah, yeah.
intimidating, right? So like, how was your journey kind of dealing with that? I'm just curious.
I'm trying to think. Let me I it's interesting because the reputation that I felt like the movies had prior to seeing them was like, it's all just gore, it's all just ultra violence, it all, it's really mean spirited. Um and then when I watched them, I was like, these are still so much of a movie. And even like Sienna as a character is got so much heart built into it. And it's like the cherry on top, the icing is just these glorious practical effects,
Yeah.
like extravaganzas. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just really fun, even when it's scary, intense, and you know, horrifying, terrifying.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Terrifying.
but
Terrifying.
I that no, but oh man, I I remember reading the script and being like, oh, this is insane. There's definitely scenes that I was like, oh, that's gonna be. I can't believe they're doing
I mean,
that.
you're
But
banned in some countries. You're banned in France for under 18.
I know, you know, um, and but like at the end of the day, I think getting to know Damien, I was like,
Yeah.
this is all for the love of movies. This is
Yes.
all
Yeah.
just for
Yeah.
the love of fun and effective. I mean, it really draws reactions out of people, and I feel like the best movies really lean into that, where they either draw you in emotionally and they affect you emotionally, or that's the one of the most beautiful things about horror movies is being in a movie theater with a packed audience and everyone's on the edge of their seat and you're jumping and you're invested, and so I
Yeah.
feel like Damien's just a master at leaning into that. And I feel like he, as tastefully as you can do things with Terrifier, he handles things really well when it comes down to some of this crazy subject matter. So
It's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, for sure. Envelope was pushed, and I'm sure that's going through your mind. But at some point, you have to act. You're there to do a job, right? So
Right.
you turn it off, and you're just like, I'm just gonna do it. You know what I mean? We're gonna film the shower scene.
Absolutely. And you know what's hilarious is it was really my experience shooting Terrifier was funny because I had a full week of just the principal dialogue scenes. So my first week of Terrifier was no blood, no gore, no, of course David was there dressed as Art the Clown, they're doing some stuff, but like it was pretty like fairly straightforward for me. And then I came back about 2 months later or so and filmed for the entire week the shower scene. And I was a little nervous because you're there, you leave, and then you come back, and but all while you're gone, you're just like, oh God, it's coming, it's coming. We're gonna make that. I hope. How's it gonna go? But man, once you're in the room with all that crew that you've really, made friends with and gotten to know, uh, it's so much more about the blocking, and it's kind of the fun of seeing like, you really got to get these crazy inserts of like the arm or like the leg or like the blood splatter needs to be correct. And like, it's so much less dark for some reason when you're filming. But that, what you said earlier about like, what was it like before and what was it like after? I think watching it in sequence with all the sound design was so much more horrifying than our experience filming, of course.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
because a lot of it
Yeah.
too is like post production too. You're not really thinking about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh man, it's crazy. And then the last question for you. I mean, so much. I mean, you kind of sprinkled kind of sub answers to this question during the interview, but so much happens before you go to camera on Terrifier 3, right? Like you're preparing, you're reading the script, you're talking to Damien. So from an acting storyteller perspective, Mason, you can see it as two journeys, right? Before filming and after filming, or did it feel like one big journey with multiple steps in between? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, there was a lot of prep beforehand on my end, and I thankfully got to meet Alexa in person before we went straight to New Jersey to go film. And yeah, there was just a lot of talk about like here's what's on the page and here's where we can take it, or here's what we can make out of this. And so there was a lot of discussion like that, and that was really great. But yeah, it was funny to kind of block out the principal acting scenes and then block out just the intense face off with Art the Clown scene. And but I mean, all together, man, it was such a joy. It was such a joy, and it was amazing to watch it all pieced together, even though there was that time in between. And yeah, I'm just so proud of it. And that collaborative process with Damien was really a treat. It was a joy to bring this to life with him. And yeah, I was just honored to be a part of it, man. I mean,
and it's in theaters now, Terrifier 3, to go check it out. Mason, so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for your time, man.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me. This has been great, dude.
Yeah. Your Instagram account is just your name if people want to keep update with everything, right?
Mason McCarty. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Mason McCarty, who can catch in Terrifier 3, and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.